anything you put in front of your goal, and especially something like that, whether it's too much gambling, too much food, too much cold beers on the weekend, anything you put in front of the prize, so to speak, is gonna.
Did you know that Brad Renfro, Hollywood's promising child prodigy, tragically passed away at the age of 25 from a heroin overdose? A shocking tragedy. This left millions wondering, did this rising star's light burn out too soon? Film producers clamored to cast him. Fans adored him. While this handsome, talented young man, poised to dominate Hollywood, silently battled inner demons that led to an irreparable tragedy. From Tennessee, with no acting experience, he made his mark at age 10 in the blockbuster The Client that caused a sensation. It was a massive hit. Directors and audiences were instantly captivated by Renfro on the big screen. This was confirmed by numerous awards he received, including Hollywood Reporter's Young Star and a spot on People magazine's 30 Under 30 list. Sadly, fame came too early and destroyed Renfro. Like many child stars not mature enough to face fame and fortune, so why did this brilliant talent's success suddenly vanish? Were the battles off-screen too much for him, or did those around him fail? As rumors suggest, stay tuned to discover more, and meanwhile, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell for more fascinating videos from us. Renfro arrived in Hollywood straight from a trailer park in Knoxville, Tennessee, where he lived with his grandmother. Director Joel Schumacher discovered him and cast him as Mark Sway, a young witness in a mafia case, in his 1994 film, The Client. Why do you think you need a lawyer? Because I am Mark Sway. So you know the kid who found the dead man. I'm famous, don't you read the papers? In The Client. Acting alongside Hollywood stars Tommy Lee Jones and Susan Sarandon, the boy had no special training, let alone acting background. But Schumacher was perfectly fine with that because he was looking for something special. And he certainly found it. A loud child with natural talent who became a star overnight. Renfro definitely had acting talent. He easily memorized his lines and showed genuine interest in everything happening on set. While other child actors spent more time with their families in trailers, this young gem wandered around asking crew members questions about set construction or costume design. His manager, J.J. Harris, recalled that Renfro was truly funny, charming, a bit wild, and wonderful to work with on set. He had lots of energy, but sometimes he also had dark moods. I don't feel like a big star, you know. I had a really great experience with The Client, but I don't see myself as a star, you know. Do you want to know how much this shirt costs? You know, there's a lot more to it than that. However, what set Renfro apart from other child actors on set was that by this time, his clear childhood wounds had surfaced. He was truly an emotionally abandoned child, clearly crying out for someone to set some boundaries for him, something that never happened in his life. J.J. Harris commented on his work with the boy. He radiated deprivation, and you could tell right away that he had no adult guidance. Those around him couldn't help but become his unofficial guardians. From the costume manager to the electrician, the crew members did their best to support him. Producer Don Murphy recalled this, and it's no surprise that Renfro came from an imperfect family. His parents divorced when he was only 5 years old. Shortly after, his mother remarried and moved to another state, while the boy was quickly sent to Knoxville, where he was raised by his grandmother, a church secretary. She did her best to raise a child who took advantage of the situation and caused her a great deal of stress. The soon-to-be Hollywood favorite longed for the love and support of a mother he never fully received. This led to later behavioral problems and substance abuse. In several interviews, Renfro confirmed that he smoked marijuana for the first time at age 9, got drunk for the first time at 11, and was expelled after lighting a joint in front of a school official. He first injected heroin at the age of 12. One of Renfro's friends shared that it was his mother who allowed her son to use heroin. So, was it family history that caused the promising child's life to spiral downward, or was there something else? Renfro's former defense attorney, Blair Burke, who handled many charges against his client including theft, drug possession, and drunk driving, was devastated upon hearing the tragic news of Renfro's death. He blamed Hollywood for ruining the boy. This ultimately led to the boy's untimely death. A matter of great importance and predictability, as you can see in this town. All I could do was cry upon hearing the news. Burke confessed that in some ways, I feel that we all failed. What exactly was Burke implying? Clearly, Renfro was a troubled child. But Mark, don't just say if you lie, you'll become like them. If I told the truth, he would kill me. And despite his difficult circumstances, he still tried to build a career in Hollywood. But the problem is that Hollywood does not seem to be a safe place for children like him. In an interview, Fernando Altschul, who met Renfro as a first assistant editor on the set of the film Apt Pupil, admitted that he felt the film industry failed children like Brad in some ways. Perhaps someone should have said that a person in his situation was not psychologically ready to be in such an unstable place as a film set. I don't know how you make that judgment, and if you give money to someone, how they would refuse it. He said Renfro was surrounded by film directors, producers, and actors. But did they always act in his best interests? There are reasons to suspect that Hollywood is a multi-billion-dollar industry where people focus on making money, and managers engage in business ensuring every dollar is accounted for. Besides parents or guardians, only one other person truly has the authority to set clear boundaries on behalf of a minor actor on set, and that is the set teacher. Because Renfro was cared for only by his grandmother, whom he seemed not to respect. His fate and ability to cope with the filming schedule depended on his teacher. It is the teacher who could discuss alternatives with the crew if some scenes seemed unsafe or if the pupil was falling behind in their studies. Unfortunately, Renfro did not have such a person on set. The problem is that teachers often face conflicts of interest when negotiating with bosses who actually pay their salaries. This leads to child actors working overtime, becoming exhausted, and eventually being pushed out of the industry. Renfro performed very well on set during his short career. He took on roles in 21 films, and it was not just talent but undeniable charisma and appearance. Hollywood producers did not hesitate to exploit that. The young actor was often asked to film shirtless scenes clearly to attract the attention of girls, and they hit the jackpot as Renfro's fame soared. He quickly became a hot commodity, bombarded by girls with gift cards. Once, film director Peter Horton described the young actor as a boy with tremendous charm and sexual appeal, and he was not lying. At age 13, Renfro engaged in sexual behavior and dated a girl much older than himself. Some believe the teenager seemed to feel abandoned and was searching for a mother figure to replace the one who had rejected him as a child. This was not widely publicized, but Renfro was a father. This was only revealed after his death. His son's name, who was raised by his mother in Japan, was mentioned in his obituary. Perhaps Renfro was truly unlucky, and this might have turned out differently if he had someone in the industry to protect him. But some quickly blamed the young actor himself for his early departure. I think he was already in trouble before coming to Hollywood. Director Bryan Singer stated that after Renfro's death, he believed that when enough drugs were involved, it was less about Hollywood pressure and more about the pressures of life. Perhaps he had marijuana, heroin, a series of arrests, and hospitalizations in drug rehabilitation programs. All of this seemed troubling, but Renfro was a smart young man who seemed to understand where all of this might lead. In one of his interviews, he made a shocking confession that he was actually glad to have been arrested because it taught him many lessons. I had a few months sober. I wouldn't want it any other way. I'm glad it happened when I was 16, not 36, he said. Renfro did not know that his 36th birthday would never come. Although the actor realized that such a pattern could easily drag him into a downward spiral, he warned young people not to use drugs. If you've never done it, don't start. If you have, pray, then have a truly sober period. When you achieve that, you will feel a natural high, causing unbearable pain to loved ones. Yet for many others, this tragedy seemed long foretold. Some Hollywood figures tried to save him, but the addiction crossed all limits, pushing him into an abyss, destroying every relationship and career over time, leading to an inevitable tragic end. Many still agonize, wondering whether his death was a symbol of a turbulent era, reflecting the painful legacy of the 90s, where the client star joined the list of young talents lost forever, alongside the legendary Hollywood figure River Phoenix. At the funeral, Renfro's uncle, Michael Earl, tearfully shared that his nephew faced struggles like many others, filled with challenges and pain that everyone must endure. It is hard to deny that every person has dark moments, but for some unfortunate fates, they lead to tragic ends. I believe society needs to reflect more deeply on such losses. We cannot know if Renfro's destiny could have changed with timely intervention, but one thing is certain: family trauma and addiction dealt a fatal blow, stealing a talent the world should have treasured more